Okay, good morning, my dear students. I don't, what we have discussed last class up to this one, no? Specific term for concrete and steel. Okay, steel we have seen. But steel and okay, high tension steel we have seen. Okay. Some cable fault is there. The PPT is not clear. Okay. Now we will see one problem, how to compute. Okay, so we take down this problem. We have one way, just for example, some problem. How to calculate design loads. I will dictate, I will tell you, write down. Right? How to compute ultimate load, design loads. Okay, for a problem. Just for, because here we have seen, I will discuss with you some concept. No, it's okay, listen. Take down this one. You have one way slab for a public building. Take down. You have one way slab for a public building. Okay. This problem is given loading loss, don't take like that. Live load is equal to 3.5 kN per meter square. Live load. Write down. You have one way slab for a public building. Okay. Within bracket, live load is equal to 3.5 kN per mm square. Sorry, meter square. 3.5 kN per meter square. Close the bracket. Okay. I am changing the data. I don't want to do as it is the textbook. Okay. So I am changing the data. 180 mm in overall thickness. 180 mm in overall thickness. 180 mm in overall thickness. Next sentence. It is supported on a span of 4.5 meter. It is supported on a span of 4.5 meter. In this problem it is given 4. I have changed the data as 4.5 meter. Okay, full stop. Determine the factored moment and the factored shear for strength. Determine the factored moment and factored shear for strength and the loads for checking serviceability. Listen, it means you have to calculate design moment, design shear force. It means you have to first calculate design load. Design load is nothing but factored load. All of you listen. I dictated it. You should have taken, okay, you should have noted it. If not, you can copy down letter from your friend. Don't worry. Listen. This competition I am just doing to give some, okay, you are beginner, some knowledge, okay, how to arrive at design loads. Our in the in limit state design, in the ultimate state of collapse or ultimate state of strength, we take factored load as our design load, not the actual load, not the working load, not the characteristic load. Okay, so you have to ultimate load. We call it as ultimate load, factored load, right? Also called design load. How to arrive at? Right? For that, you know the unit weight of RCC. I have studied in concrete technology. What is the unit weight of reinforcement concrete? Do you know? You have an idea? 25 kN per meter cube. Okay. The unit weight of RCC. Note down. Unit weight of RCC is equal to 25 kN per meter cube. If you take 1 meter cube RCC concrete, reinforced cement concrete, its weight is 25 kN. Okay, that is the meaning of it. Plain concrete 24. If it is a plain, if the concrete is plain alone, the unit weight of plain concrete is 24 kN per meter cube. But unit weight of reinforced cement concrete RCC is 25 kN per meter cube. That unit weight of concrete you all aware. Okay. Now we have to compute the dead weight. Okay. The dead load, self weight of this slab. See, for that what to do? Just you assume this is a one-way slab, 1 meter wide strip of the slab. Okay, consider, just you can write down, consider 1 meter wide strip of the slab. Consider 1 meter wide strip of the slab. Listen, when you compute load, when you compute dead load, self weight of the slab, what to do? The slab you have to consider as a beam. Okay, slab is a plate, flat, right? Diaphragm. But you have to consider like a strip, 1 meter wide beam. See, your beam is there, no? This is also you have to treat as a beam, 1 meter wide beam, right? That's why consider 1 meter wide strip, called a 1 meter wide strip of the slab. In that, what is the thickness is given? 180 mm. 180 mm means how much meter? 0.18 meter. Okay. So I have 1 meter wide strip. In that, for 1 meter run, what is the area of concrete available there? 1 into 1. 1 meter wide strip of slab. In that, 1 meter run I am considering. Okay. So what is the area there available? 1 into 1, 1 meter square. That into thickness, 0.18 meter, is the volume of concrete. That into density of concrete will give me the self weight. Okay, so calculate dead load of slab. Okay, DL. Okay, write down characteristic load. First you are computing characteristic load. Give ready. That is the working load, service load. Okay, characteristic load. Okay, dead load, DL. Dead load of slab, DL of slab. Write down. DL of slab is equal to. Okay. 0.18 into 0.18 into 1 into 25. 0.18 into 1 is what? 0.18 is thickness of slab. 180 mm thickness is I told you 180 mm thickness. So 0.18 meter thickness. 0.18 into 1 meter square area. Isn't it? Into 1. It will give me volume of concrete. That into density of concrete. 25. Gives me the self weight for 1 meter run of the strip. I am getting self weight for 1 meter run of the 1 meter wide strip of slab. Okay, very good. That is how much you are getting? 4.5. Okay, 4.5 kilonewton per meter. Don't write 4.5 kilonewton per meter square. Now you write down 4.5 kilonewton per meter run, per meter only. Because already you have written consider 1 meter wide strip. This book is calculated for area, 1 meter area. But already I told you assume 1 meter wide slab. Okay. So for in that slab, 1 meter wide slab, 1 meter run. Okay. So 4.5 kilonewton per meter. Okay. Next we are coming to live load. LL on slab. Write down. LL on slab is equal to. What is the live load on slab now? The live load is given 3.5 kilonewton per meter square. For 1 meter square area of the slab, you take 1 meter square area of the slab, 3.5 kilonewton live load is acting. Okay, 3.5, listen to me, 3.5 kilonewton live load is acting. I have considered 1 meter wide strip slab, 1 meter wide strip of the slab. In that for 1 meter run, means 1 meter square. So what is the live load on 1 meter square of the slab? 3.5 kilonewton per meter. Write down. 3.5 kilonewton per meter run of the 1 meter wide strip. That's the meaning of it. Either you can write in meter square or no. Initially you can write consider 1 meter wide strip of the slab, and you always write dead load per meter run. Okay, live load 3.5 kilonewton per meter length of the meter run of the slab. Okay, that is the meaning of it. Next, this is the characteristic load. What is the total? Calculate the total. 3.5 plus 4.5. How much? 8 kilonewton per meter. Total load. Better you know to calculate total load. Don't write total load. Reason is we are going to use sometimes the load factor may be different. Okay, normally it is 1.5 only. Okay, in highest code the factor load is 1.5 for dead load and live load. Total load don't need to write. Okay, doesn't matter. If you want to write, no problem. Next, factor load. Write down factor load or ultimate load. Factor load or ultimate load. Okay. Give small heading, factor load. If you want, you can give heading that small subheading. Factor load or ultimate moment, ultimate shear, factored shear moment, factored shear, all are one same, everything factored. Hereafter, whatever moment, shear force, load you are going to compute, all are ultimate. Okay, factored one, right? Right now, factored load is equal to ultimate load. That is more familiar with that word. No, ultimate load is equal to. If you don't like ultimate load or factored load or design load is equal to, write down for your understanding. Ultimate load or factored load or design load is equal to, down you write, is equal to 1.5 DL plus 1.5 LL. 1.5 DL, write down, plus 1.5 LL. Okay, write down now. That is equal to 1.5 into 4.5 plus 3.5. 4.5 plus 3.5. How much? 12. It is only 12 kilonewton per meter square. is equal to 12 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, you are done. Now write down factored within bracket design moment. Factored, if you please alternate or factored or within bracket design moment, all are one same. Please, all of you listen. If I use the word ultimate, factored, design, all are one same in the ultimate theory. Okay, factored, ultimate or factored within bracket design moment is equal to, okay, is equal to, right. What is the, for simply supported beam, what is the bending moment? Bending moment is maximum at the mid span, whose value is WL square by 8. We know that. Okay, so write down WL square by 8. So 12 into the span is given as 4.5 in the problem. 4.5 square. 12 into 4.5 square divided by 8. Now my data மாத்திருக்கேன் அதே data காப்பி பண்ணிக்கங்க. Okay, 12 into 4.5 square divided by 8 is equal to how much you are getting. That's for the elementary level problem. Okay, as a beginner you should know how to calculate. That's why I am doing it. It's not a problem at all. Just for learning purpose you are doing this exercise. Okay, how much you are getting? 30.3. Okay, 30.375 kilonewton meter. Kilonewton meter. Factored shear. Ultimate or factored shear within bracket design. Ultimate or factored within bracket design shear. Within bracket design shear. Okay, without design we are taking it. Again, where do you simply supported beam? Where do you get maximum shear force? Shear force is maximum at the, in a simply supported beam, where do you get maximum shear force? Tell me. In a simply supported beam, shear force will be maximum at a support. What about shear force value at the mid span? Zero. Only two of you are answering. Many of you are blind, I know. They don't know even ABCD of anything. Okay, we are dealing with such a kind of student. Okay, so we cannot teach at IIT level or NAT level, right? It's okay, right? The shear force is maximum at support. Okay, at the mid span, shear force changes sign, whose value is 0. Where the bending moment is maximum, there the maximum segment you are getting. Okay, that's why you should know all these things in mind. Immediately the shear force bending moment diagram should come into your picture when I talk about simply supported beam, right? Which is WL by 2. Okay, total load. Half of it will be 2, WL by 2. Your W you got 12 into L 4.5. Okay, divided by 2. Compute. That's all. You have computed. Okay, you put this. I forgot to tell you the rotation. For ultimate shear, you put the rotation capital V suffix U. Capital V suffix U. Similarly, for ultimate moment, you put the rotation capital M suffix U. Put the rotation capital M suffix U for ultimate moment, capital V suffix U for ultimate shear. You know, elementary level problem, just for give you some awareness on that. Okay. So load for serviceability conditions. Next slide. Load for serviceability condition. If you want to do serviceability check in your computation, listen here. When we do the design procedure, we take into account both the strength aspects as well as serviceability aspects in our computation. Okay. Certain serviceability condition will be checked later. In the form of checking we will be doing. Okay. Serviceability for conditions. Okay. Load for serviceability condition is nothing but the actual load. The characteristic load is the that load only we are using to check for serviceability, not the factored load. Factored load will be used only for ultimate limit of strength. In other words, ultimate limit state of strength or limit state of collapse. Only for strength aspect point of view, we use ultimate strength. Okay, to design the beam in strength point of view. For serviceability checkup, we use the actual load, characteristic load. Okay, right. That is equal to what? That is equal to what? The total load. Okay, 4.5 plus 3.5. That's all. Dead load plus live load. That's all. That is equal to DL plus LL. That is equal to 1 in factor, no factor. Okay, DL plus LL, which is equal to 4.5 plus 3.5 is equal to 12 kilonewton per meter. 12 kilonewton per meter. That's all. Okay. So this small elementary level exercise is over. Now you got how to arrive at the nodes. Okay. Small simple supported beam is given, its span is given, live load acting on the slab is given, thickness of the slab is given. You computed the dead weight current. You consider 1 meter wide strip of the slab. You computed dead load, live load, 1 meter run of the slab. Okay. From that you computed what is the bending moment for the span of the slab. Treating as a 1 meter wide strip of beam. Treating as a 1 meter wide strip beam. Okay. We have computed. So now you got some idea. You are aware of. Okay. This was the submission in this chapter. Next I want us to start the next day topic. Okay. Some theory. What is that theory? Okay. Already we have okay. I want to slightly increase the percentage. Is it visible? See, first I start off preparing. Okay. Within students, okay, right, listen. First, all of you listen. First, I thought of preparing PPT of it. PPT I have to type. I cannot copy and paste. Okay, it's not a text. It's not a PDF file or Word file. To copy and paste it and prepare nice PPT. It is a scanned image. So I can copy it as a still image only. Paste it and that is may not look. Because you are going to refer over this book. That is why I have scanned the relevant pages of the book. And I am discussing with that one. Okay, so it will be easy for you to study while studying, while referring the textbook, which I recommended to you. P.C. Verghese, the professor, I told you, in NIT Warangal, one professor, Thomas Sundar Rao, when I was working as a faculty member there, he used to praise it like anything. Okay, normally he never praised anybody. Such a proud man. Only two kinds of people for him. One is either above him or below him. One is equal to him. Such a general personality. But highly knowledgeable person. Although he used to be very harsh, but that he used to praise this book. Really, this book I really like it. The presentation, everything I like it. Why it is not widely used for students? Certain problem is complicated, right? But I am going to simplify. I am going to teach you in a straightforward way. Okay, so that you will understand easily. In this chapter, theory of singly reinforced member in bending. Right now, theory of singly reinforced members in bending. Limit state of collapse or limit state of collapse or fracture. Limit state, ultimate limit state in fracture or collapse. Ultimate limit state of fracture or collapse. What I want to say? If we say, I am sorry, write down this way. Limit state of strength or collapse in fracture. This is a proper rating. Limit state of strength or collapse. In other words, limit state of ultimate state. Ultimate limit state. Ultimate limit state. Limit state of strength. Right? Ultimate limit state or limit state of strength in limit state of strength or collapse in fracture. That is the correct way. Ultimate or limit state, ultimate or limit state of strength or collapse in fracture. In fracture areas, I am going to deal with beams and slabs. Beam and slabs are fractural member in our structure, concrete structures. Okay, the beam is a fractural member, transversely loaded. Okay, slab also transversely loaded. They are called a fractural member. Okay, so when I design of slab, I am going to consider it as a 1 meter wide strip beam. Beam with actual dimension. Okay, let us see how to go about. Now I have some theory and we are going to discuss. It is going to be very important. Listen carefully. The reason is, whatever formula, actually in this chapter, I am going to tell you the derivation of the formulae which are used in the IS code. Especially IS 457. Okay, we are going to derive, we are going to see the theory of computation of or derivation of formulae used in Annex G of IS 456. In Annex G, that too in Annex G. IS 456, 2000, Annex G. In Annex G, there are some expressions, formulae given. Those formulas we are going to derive here. How did we arrive at that formula? Okay, how did the experts arrive at those formula. How those formulas were evaluated, obtained, derived. That we are going to see in this topic. Okay. So see it carefully. And Annex G of IS 456. First, assumption. See, whatever assumption made in this theory, already we have seen. Last chapter itself I discussed with you. Okay, almost majority of the assumption I have already discussed with you. First, any assumption in building, something in building now, the first assumption made in your mechanics of solids, mechanics of materials and all, you have done the assumption. What is that? A plane section, a section which is a plane before building, remains building after, remains plane after building. What is the last theory? Here, a section which is a plane before building remains plane up to failure. Okay, that's what written here. First assumption. Plane section remain plane in bending up to the point of failure. Okay, you can write down. I will give the book. Okay, I will give the send soft copy of it. Whatever I am presenting here, I will mail you. Okay, the material will be given to you. Don't worry. So, plane section which is a plane remains plane up to failure. Okay, because in ultimate load theory, we take into account the behavior of the member even in the plastic range, not only within the elastic range, even in the plastic range, up to failure load, up to failure strain we are taking. Okay, the strength of the section is taken into account. Very good. That it means strain is proportional to its distance from neutral axis. What is the meaning of it? If you made this assumption, strains are proportional to its distance from neutral axis. At the extreme fiber, you will be getting maximum strain. At the neutral axis, strain value is 0. Because the strain distribution is like a triangle. Okay, already we have seen the mechanics of solids, the mechanics of materials you have studied. The the distribution of our variation of strain is like a triangle. It is maximum at the extreme fiber and 0 at neutral axis. Okay, that's what the first assumption says. The second assumption, ultimate limit state of bending failure is deemed to have been reached. Ultimate limit state of bending failure is deemed to have been reached when the strain concrete in the extreme fiber reaches the value of 0.0035. In ultimate load theory, we are calling it as ultimate load theory, means we are taking into account the strength of the section up to failure, up to its failure. You take first concrete, concrete in compression zone. You are going to, in this theory, we are going for singly reinforced section. Singly reinforced means only the tension zone has steel. In the compression zone, no steel. Only the concrete, the area of concrete available in the compression zone going to take care of the compressive action. Okay. There, where do you get the maximum strain? At the extreme fiber. At the extreme fiber, the concrete is deemed to attain its failure strain value. What is the failure strain value for concrete? Already told you. Ultimate strain is 0.002, failure strain is 0.035. So, a failure strain of 0.035 has attained. That is the meaning of the last discussion itself. I told you. Okay, that's what that assumption, second assumption tells you. The third assumption, the stress distribution across the compression phase will correspond to this strain diagram. Okay, for the concrete in compression. That also I told you that they are drawn here before. Right? The stress distribution is that time is equal to nothing but the design stress strain curve for concrete. Whatever design stress strain curve for concrete we obtained in last class. Okay, the curve is called design stress strain curve. The actual stress strain curve, characteristic stress strain curve is there. Okay, that is we have divided by 1.5. Okay, 0.6 times we have taken. Why? Please sorry, in the last class I told you some reason for taking 0.67 of the characteristics of concrete for taken into account in order to cater for size effect. It's mainly for size effect only. See, whatever characteristics sustain is there for concrete, you have sustain for concrete. This is a parabola. Okay, it's non-linear. Right from the beginning until failure, it's non-linear. Even ascending and descending part is there. But the alteration sustain curve we are drawing. Okay, parabolic portion and then horizontal portion. The descending part we are taking it as horizontal. Okay, that is called idealized sustain curve. Okay, that sustain curve is also called a characteristics idealized sustain curve. In that, we are applying design sustain curve. How did we apply? We divided that by 1.5. It means 0.67 times we multiplied. 0.61 times we multiplied. Why we reduced like that? In order to cater for size effect. Okay. So in the laboratory test, the characteristics are applied in the lab by casting cube of aluminium of cube. But in the actual structure, the size of the specimen is different. The actual size of the member is different. Okay. So in order to ensure, okay, or to distinguish between the laboratory strength and the strength of the concrete in the structure by virtue of size effect. Okay. So what we have done? We have multiplied by 0.67. That means we divided it by 1.5. Last class I told you laboratory condition, field condition and all. That already taken care by target mean strength. When you design M30 grade concrete, how you design in the laboratory, you will not design it for M30. You will design it for target mean strength. Okay, 30. It comes around 30 by statistical analysis. Okay, standard deviation value and all. That is a formula. No, by substituting, you will compute target mean strength. Okay, you have to target 38 Newton per square. Then only 30 Newton per square will be ensured in the field. Okay, so to distinguish laboratory condition, field condition, already the target mean strength takes care of it. Especially, mainly to take care of the size effect, we divide the characteristics curve by 1.5. That is 0.67. We are multiplying. We are applying a curve. 0.67 around FCK. Again, you are further dividing it by the load partial safety factor. Partial safety factor is 1.5 for strength of concrete. Okay, that you have to divide. Partial safety factor we are dividing. Again, further 1.5. It comes around 0.4446 something. So 0.45. Okay, 0.45 FCK. That is called the design sustain curve. The same the stress is distributed across the cross section similar to that of the sustain curve. Because at that time the strain at the extreme fiber is 0.035. That also I told you in the last class. If you want, I will refer to this figure, I will explain. If you don't understand what I am trying to say. Okay, what I mean to say, if you don't understand, I will once again project this one, this figure and tell you, with the diagram of strain diagram and stress block. Strain diagram, the first one is called, the side one is called strain diagram. That is the cross section. In the book it is given wrongly, that one, okay? Which one is given wrongly? Time up. Okay, set up and all, it takes time, okay. You do one thing, next class I will continue, switch off. The class will be continued in the next class, okay?